Well, hello and welcome back to A320 Flight Sim. Been away for a little while, so I haven't had any new videos here in the last couple weeks, but I wanted to drop this quick one for you. This is a user request. I had a user request to show the landing into Kauai. Uh, this is a beautiful little spot here in Hawaii, so thought we'd try this one out today. We'll take a quick flight here from Honolulu into Kauai. It's actually only about a 30-40 minute flight. And we'll show our takeoff and our landing and approach into runway 21, coming in from the north side out over the ocean and into Kauai. So let's go ahead and jump into our Hawaiian Airlines A320 here in Honolulu, and let's get her off the ground and check this one out. All right, well, we got her out here onto runway 08 left, and we'll get rolling down the runway here. And then we'll get it up into the air and gear up and start our flight towards Kauai. Now, when you take off from Honolulu, anytime you take off towards the east, and with 08 left, we are taking off towards the east. You can see with the mountains there. We have to make an immediate right-hand turn. All departures to the east out of Honolulu, you have to make an immediate right turn within 2 miles of taking off. And then you head due south, and then we just flip completely around and make basically a U-turn because we want to head back due west to our first waypoint, which is Keola, is our first waypoint on this departure. So just interesting when you take off of Honolulu. There's several runways here, but all the ones that take off towards the east, you have to make these immediate turns to the south because of the mountains. So we're headed off towards that first waypoint, the southern coast here of Oahu, and then we hit that first waypoint. We make a little bit of a turn and head to the northwest slightly, and then it's a quick flight, and then we'll be quickly onto our approach into Kauai. Alright, so at this point we're about 15-20 miles north of the airport. What happened is they vectored us into the RNAV approach, and they took us pretty far up to the north. When I looked at my original flight plan, I didn't think it was going to be that far, but they took us out there a little ways and then had us circle back around in from the north side of the island. And again, like I said, this is the RNAV Zulu approach into runway 21. And it's a beautiful approach, like most approaches into any of the Hawaiian Islands. You're just going to get a fantastic view of the mountains, the beach, the water. You might see a few little black straight lines in the water. That is a rendering issue with the simulator. Sometimes what it does is a thing called stitching. I don't have the world's greatest graphics card, and so sometimes it doesn't give you the greatest thing when it comes to the oceans. It stitches those oceans together, and you get a little bit of a line there. Let's get that gear down, though. We're now about 6-7 miles out. And we should start seeing the runway coming into view here in just a minute. The 2-1 approach is awesome. The runway 3, so the opposite of this, is an approach I would like to try. I think you would have to manually do that one on your own. It's not something they usually like to do because you have to drop in between these mountains. I think when we switch a view here, and just so you can see those mountains, you basically have to come in that notch in between those 2 mountains there, and so there's really not a charted approach into runway 3. I think it's just too dangerous would be my guess. That's just a guess too, plus prevailing winds. So here we are, coming over the top of runway 21. Get it down just a little bit past the marks, not too bad, but we're right on center. Nice and smooth landing though. Really no wind to deal with today, which was unusual. I was using live weather, and usually you get pretty breezy approaches in and out of Hawaii, but today I think there's only about 2-3 knots of wind, and it's pretty straight in, so not too much trouble there. All right, well, we'll get it throttled down, get those engines down to that nice smooth about 20-30 knots here so we can turn off onto the taxiway, and we'll get it taxied up into the terminal. All right, well, we'll get it taxied up in here into the terminal, and in this video, this is the point where we'd just like to say thank you so much for supporting A320 Flight Sim. Really ask you could hit that like and subscribe. We'd appreciate it. And if you got any comments, go ahead and drop those below into this video or onto the main channel, especially if there's someplace you'd like to see. This was a user request video. Somebody asked for me to show the landing into Kauai, and so that's what we did today. And so if there's someplace you'd like to see, go ahead and put it in the comments and I'll make it happen. If there's 2 cities you'd like to see us fly between, or if there's a particular takeoff or landing you think might be fun, just let me know and I'll get on to that. Like I said, I do have kind of a bigger project that I'm working on right now. It's probably going to take me a couple weeks. I'll try to get a few little shorter videos out in between, but I'm looking forward to seeing how you feel about this bigger one that I've got coming out in just a couple weeks. So in the meantime, again, thank you so much for our support. Like and subscribe, and have a great day.